Good evening. Welcome to Have I Got News for You? I'm Richard Ayoade. In the news this week, in Bedford, there's evidence that Shadow Chancellor Rachel Reeves is already pulling out all the stops to get some spending money into the Treasury.
81, 81.
Lincolnshire Council's Willie the Wheelie Bin campaign to encourage glass recycling backfires as someone accidentally deposits a full whiskey bottle. And a controversial military operation to use animals for espionage purposes sees one of its most promising candidates fail the concealment test. On Ian's team tonight is a visually impaired comedian and professional voiceover artist who has lent his voice to a range of adverts, from lager to road safety, so he's really cornered the lucrative drink-drive market. Please welcome Jamie MacDonald. On Paul's team tonight is a presenter who once won an Arkwright Engineering Prize. Presumably she fixed the dodgy cash register in his corner shop. Please welcome Steph McGovern. We begin with the bigger news stories of the week. Ian and Jamie, have a look at this.
What have we got?
Then we've got a massive rally. We've got Mark Rowley, the policeman, investigating police, and there's Suella Braverman being arrested by two policemen for hate speech. This is the march.
Yes.
And the argument about it. It's on the same day as Remembrance Day, and there's a big row about it, despite the fact that the police think it should be perfectly possible to have a march in one place and the Cenotaph Remembrance Service in another at different times without them clashing.
The idea that you should have an anti-war march on the same day as Armistice Day seems to be bizarre.
Yes.
Wildly inappropriate.
Yeah. Armistice from the Latin, stop fighting.
Yes.
And the police have said, you know, we know there's some lunatics on marches, but we reckon we can do this. So they all agreed, and the Prime Minister said, yes, the march can go ahead, and the Home Secretary just wrote a piece in the Times saying the police have let me down. And you think, God, if only there was someone who was in charge of the police who she could talk to.
Another senior politician who has called for this week's pro-Palestinian march to be postponed is Justice Minister Alex Chalk. I should say, in the interest of balance, we would say his views were violently opposed by Shadow Minister Malcolm Cheese.
The theory is, isn't it, that she's trying to get sacked deliberately?
Yes, because she wants to put in her bid to be the leader of the Tories. She's absolutely pushing all of Rishi's buttons.
There's a brilliant clip of the two of them sitting next to each other. It's the first time any Tory government has observed social distancing.
We have the footage of Suella Braverman sitting next to Rishi Sunak.
Because without a serious Home Secretary, there can be no serious government, and he cannot be a serious Prime Minister.
There you go.
The thing I love about, the only thing I like about Suella is her name being from the Dallas character, Sue Ellen.
I don't believe that. I think it's from Nutella.
But he's still supporting her, isn't he? He's not come out and said otherwise. So do you think he's scared of her?
Aren't you?
Yes, I am.
What else does Suella Braverman want to ban?
Homeless people, tents. People using tents.
That's right. I mean, if she was just trying to ban camping, I'd be behind her.
But then you'd have to word that bill very carefully.
You would. You would. You would.
There'd be a lot of pantomimes to be out of business.
That's right.
I'm on in Richmond this year, by the way.
Yes, she is trying to ban tents. She said sleeping on the streets is a lifestyle choice. Nobody in Britain should be living in a tent. It's a surprise that more people don't choose to live in opulence.
Homelessness is a lifestyle choice. It's the last time I buy a big issue. If it can help the homeless, I help you live your dream more, like bugger off. Loving it.
Shall we have a look at a graph of homelessness in England since 2010? Looks like a tent.
Yeah.
Let's talk about more mad people.
Is it Nadine?
Yes.
Ah.
Nadine Dorris, her explosive book.
Yes.
The Plot.
Yes.
The political assassination of Boris Johnson. It's out now.
Yeah.
There are other books available.
Yes. The Mail called The Plot the most eagerly anticipated book of the year.
I mean, the basic theory of the book is there's this incredible conspiracy theory amongst top Tories that they've managed to topple every single leader to date.
Called The Movement.
Yeah, and it produced the obvious, like most movements.
So what we're about to see is the Mail's promotional video for Nadine Dorris's book, in which she does some key investigative work.
OK.
Go for trusted people at hand, ready to serve, when really it was a WhatsApp thread managing a cult.
She's writing stuff down on a piece of paper.
Yeah.
No wonder it's dynamite.
Yeah, I think she just wrote down milk.
Yeah.
Nadine writes about a secret, hidden force that brought down not just Boris Johnson, but also Theresa May, David Cameron, Ian Duncan Smith and Liz Truss. Incompetence.
It's the characters in the book, though, as well. So she's got, like, the Dark Lord. That's Dominic Cummings.
Yeah.
Right.
She's got the Wolf, which is a bloke called Dougie Smith.
Not so threatening, is it, Dougie Smith?
Dougie, yeah. I saw Nadine Dorris do this thing on YouTube, and the Dougie Smith took Boris Johnson down and finished him off.
Perhaps it was his birthday.
This book is just completely full of things that aren't true.
But based on interviews with hundreds and hundreds of people in her head.
Very good.
The cult group on WhatsApp's called the Order of the Phoenix. And there's another one coming up about Harry and Meghan, and it's called the Half-Blood Prince.
And in it as well, it's got this whole thing about Boris's coiled mamba.
He needs to see his tailor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was obviously very risky for some of Nadine's contacts to speak out. It's high-risk stuff, this, so their identities were disguised and they dubbed on an actor's voice.
The movement were furious because Boris had won too big. Boris would have gone through to the next election and won comfortably.
Boris began to find it very hard to get things through. They would blame the civil service, but mostly it was Rishi in the Treasury.
I am surprised Boris never saw it coming. The same scenarios and outcomes enacted by the same people. They are addicts.
Who could he be?
Who was that?
That was Syrian.
Oh, right, but
Duncan
it
Smith.
wasn't his voice.
No, but
What
it was the
the
actor's
hell?
voice, and it was actually him in the picture.
Oh, right. Oh, that's a gaff, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, he wasn't actually good enough to play himself. The idea that Ian Duncan Smith was brought down... He was brought down by this incredible movement called the Public. You claimed that there were two people, Ian and Duncan Smith.
There were two people. I'm glad to hear that joke get a good laugh.
Yeah.
Didn't get much in 1994, but his time has come.
Yeah.
The thing that doesn't work with this movement thing...
What do you mean, the thing? Don't narrow yourself down.
So Ian Duncan Smith says he was brought down by the movement, but Boris Johnson was in the movement then.
Yeah.
So are there two Boris Johnsons? Is one in the movement and one out of the movement?
It's like going to see The Temptations. You don't know who's going to be in the band.
I did see this week, it came out in the COVID inquiry, that during the early days of the pandemic, Boris Johnson volunteered to be injected with the COVID virus live on television.
Yes.
Is it not too late to take him up on that offer?
Now, there is some breaking news, I'm being told, in my
Yes.
ear. Shut the fridge. Nigel Farage has been confirmed as a contestant on
I'm a Celebrity.
I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here, for a fee of up to £1 million.
Of up to £1 million, so it could be a quid.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, it could be.
I hope he can find a bank that will accept it.
You must have been asked.
I have been asked. I was actually asked on this year.
Were you?
Yeah.
And you haven't turned it down. Is that the second bit of breaking news?
That's the breaking news.
And you got up to £1.
Well, 3 weeks ago, the story was he was going to be the next leader of the Tory party because he went to the conference and danced with Priti Patel.
Well, he is going to be in close contact with a lot of dicks.
Who has decided to come clean after 3 years of denials?
Oh, is this Baroness Bone?
Yes.
Who did the PPE contract. She's just admitted that she remembers, after all, that she's entirely guilty. She may not have phrased it exactly that way.
With her husband, her teeth-whitening buddy, has admitted she was involved in a PPE firm which received £200 million worth of orders for PPE, having initially told The Guardian in 2020 that neither she, Baroness Mone, nor her husband, Douglas Barrowman, had any role or involvement with PPE MedPro. The Department of Health is suing them for over £130 million. This is the growing row over the pro-Palestinian march planned for Armistice Day. Suella Braverman described this weekend's demonstration as a hate march, adding, "I'm in." One focal point this Remembrance Weekend will be the 2-minute silence for most a chance to reflect. For Keir Starmer, a chance to go 2 minutes without saying anything to offend anyone. One name behind the shadowy group Doris suggests is controlling the Tories is Dougie Smith, who formerly ran the Federation of Conservative Students, during which time they proposed the total liberalisation of drug laws, incest, paedophilia, and hanging Nelson Mandela. I know what you're thinking, but where do they stand on ULEZ? In Nadine Dorris's book, The Plot, which, oddly, is the one thing it doesn't have, she cunningly disguises her sources by giving them code names such as Skyfall, Moneypenny, Dr. No, and M. No sign of Q, though, particularly at a book signing. Paul and Steph, have a look at this.
This is a time-travelling coach back from the 18th century. There's the Speaker of the House of Commons putting on his ceremonial coat. There's two people who get on well with each other. One's got a bigger poppy than the other one. And there we have, I don't know who they are. There we have Camilla and a bloke walking towards the thrones to deliver the King's Peach.
Right. It is the state opening of the King's Peach.
Yes.
It's Charles's first state opening of Parliament as King.
Yes, first King's Peach for over 70 years.
Who opened proceedings?
Is it Black Rod knocking on the door?
Close. It was actually the army with the historical walking of the royal compass prior to Charles's arrival.
Is it a moral compass?
How did the press rate Charles's speech?
Excellent.
Absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Better than last year.
Yeah.
I think they felt a bit sorry for him because he obviously had to read out a speech that wasn't written by him, it was written by
stuff he didn't agree with.
Yeah, so he was having to talk about, we're going to ban fags, which I don't
blimey.
think his missus will be happy about.
Yeah.
He wanted almighty power and he got it, and he just ended up like Jafar and Aladdin, just a shackled genie doling out wishes for the Tories, poor bastard.
The Metro went with this front page, the King's speech. Metro shouldn't really be throwing stones within that glass house.
I mean, the Queen had to say quite a few things she didn't agree with, or didn't she? So that kind of comes with the job. Once you get to the top, you've just got to suck it up, haven't you?
Yeah,
say whatever the hell they like.
Tell me about it. In his speech, Charles announced new police powers to tackle organised begging. So, you know, good news the next time Andrew comes visiting Charles.
They're banning laughing gas to cut down on antisocial behaviour. So you're all on it, yeah?
It's a tough time in dentistry, but... Did you see George Osborne talking about being given a hard time by the Queen?
No.
Well,
let's have a look.
We've got it here.
You're not going to close, are you, the Highland Bagpipe School of the British Army? I was like, of course not, Your Majesty. So the next day I get into the Treasury. I said, is there a bagpipe school? And for God's sake, tell me we're not closing it down. And the Treasury didn't know, or my private office didn't know immediately, and they scurried up and they said, yes, apparently there's a kind of Highland music school as part of the army bands, and we are making some cuts to those? And I said, well, we're not anymore.
A man of great principle.
Given time, you could work that up into an anecdote.
Yes.
That's a podcast.
Yes.
Oh, God.
What else did the King's Speech cover?
To be tougher on crime.
Yeah, exactly, yes.
We've got no space in jails, but we're going to make people go for longer.
Yes, exactly.
Those are two ideas that won't work together, will they? Longer sentences, tougher on crime, and no jails.
It's a lifestyle choice.
I mean, it is quite funny for this government at the moment to crack down on crime because most crime seems to be committed on the backbenches of the Conservative Party.
The thing that I was interested in it, though, is this whole Network North thing. Try and improve the journeys in the north. Obviously, they were talking about North London.
We're also getting big into the self-driving cars, and every time that comes on the news, people always say to me, oh, you'll be looking forward to them, eh?
In his speech, Charles announced there would be more support for driverless cars, or just cars to him.
But he does love this tech stuff.
Mm.
I mean, when he met Elon Musk, I mean, he's meant to be a politician, and he's the great fact from the Elon Musk interview that there will be no jobs in the future for you or any of your children or any of your friends or anyone. Hooray!
I mean, Elon Musk also said that all of the AI, all of these humanoids are going to kill us eventually as well. And Rishi had to respond to that.
Yeah, but he's not human, is he?
Ah, good point. He knew that already.
Soon our time will come.
So Rishi wrote the speech, Charles read it out, but whose big day was it really?
The Speaker's big day.
What about Lindsay? Look at him here on BBC News, very much not being a diva.
So I am here with Sir Lindsay Hoyle, who is the Speaker of the House of Commons, and we are in the Speaker's house. Now, just to say that we are...
And he just let off a fart and he was like trying to...
Either that or it's an unfortunate salute.
I was once invited to the Speaker's house for it was a party for the movers and shakers in the disability world and the ones that can keep still. And there was no toilets in it, there was no disabled toilets in it. It was an absolute shit show.
Who else had an embarrassing moment during the state opening of Parliament?
Black Rod again, did he miss?
Yeah, Mr. Dobb fell over.
Yeah. Ed Davey. His automated shoulder pads malfunctioned.
Oh, dear. His hands are worrying me, to be honest.
What was he yucking it up at? It was obviously new material night in the Commons.
Keir Starmer's speech, was it?
Robert Goodwill came up with an absolute zinger.
Oh, great. Go on, him.
We have now had 3 women Conservative premiers. Assuming the most recent one counts, of course.
Solid burn. What's Charles looking forward to?
His birthday?
Yes.
And the fact that he's not inviting his other son.
And is the invitation to Harry been lost in the post?
According to the Telegraph, Harry and Meghan haven't responded to an invitation to his private party. And also, they're busy flying around the world in a private jet telling people to recycle. King Charles, he surprised everyone by saying that he wants his birthday to be a normal working day. So, no plans. Have you seen the cake?
No.
It's a 5'10" life-size version of him. Obviously, the question is, which bit would you eat first?
Crown jewels.
The royal
Crown jewels. According to the Daily Express, Charles's head is full of puffed rice. This is the first King's speech for 70 years, which contained a number of anti-green policies. Outside the Palace of Westminster, protesters shouted at Charles, "Not my king," to which he yelled back, "Not my speech." Presenting his first King's speech, Charles was joined on the dais by his equerry, Major Johnny Thompson, Lord True, Lord Oliver Chumley, Lord Stirrup and Major Plunkett. Oi, oi, lads on tour. Everyone do a shot when he looks across. And so to round 2, the DJ deck of news.
Wow.
It's very exciting. I'm going to play in some sick beats, and I need you to buzz in, only when you know what story they relate to.
Okay,
Fingers on
fine.
buzzers. I'm gonna start it.
Go on then.
God, I'm gonna have to be.
Gosh, this. Yes.
Lonely Scottish sheep Fiona rescued at last.
Bingo.
Well done.
Yes, this is the news. Britain's loneliest sheep has been rescued. Where was the sheep rescued from?
On a cliff, wasn't she? Cliff edge.
Down a cliff, that's right. According to the New York Times, it is an international story.
Yeah.
The sheep had spent at least 2 years alone on a beach at the bottom of a Scottish cliff. I've tried to book that holiday.
How did I know she was lonely?
Messages in bottles.
Yeah.
There was a picture taken by a passing kayaker.
It has since been shorn.
Yeah, the sheep has made a lifestyle choice.
I just don't think she's lonely.
Well, at least he's not on a podcast with Ed Balls.
Well, I mean, it makes a better story rather than happy sheep rescued from paradise.
Yeah.
You know.
The spokeswoman for the Scottish Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals told the Sunday Times, it's not injured, it's not sick, it has ample grazing and a water source, it's not an emergency. And she works at the local doctors on reception. Given the Sunday Telegraph described the rescue as incredibly complex, what did the rescue actually entail?
They put down, it was ropes and a huge kind of sort of hammock, which they put the sheep in.
Yeah, they put it in a harness and winched it up.
Yeah.
It's basically our version of Black Hawk Down. Do you want to see her with her rescuers?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
The sheep's thrilled. And the man in orange is too low. According to the Daily Mail, it was key that the sheep wasn't stressed during any rescue, which is why they promoted the original plan of a 7-man crack team of marine experts who specialise in unexploded ordnance and who have operated in Iraq, undertaking a naval landing on the dangerous landscape. Do you want to know what the Daily Star Sunday called it?
Yes.
The Lamshank Redemption. And one of the rescuers told the Sun she's going to a very special place where you will be able to see her every day, and here she is. No, it's fine. It's fine. It's better than being shepherd's pie. She's actually now gone to be housed at Dulscan Farm Fun.
Farm Farm?
Farm Fun.
Oh.
It's that
Farm
way
Fun.
It's Dulscan Farm Fun.
Why have they put the words that way
It would
around?
make sense to say Fun Farm,
Yeah.
but they want it to be the other way around.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a lifestyle choice.
And they've cut off the word abattoir at the end. There were protests because they were going to put it into a petting zoo, and they were worried that people would go and see it. Like, guys, as the only Scottish person here, that's not entertainment. There's not going to be queues at that sheep because, well, there's the twin cows in Dundee. They're fucking brilliant.
According to The Guardian, police were called after protesters descended on Dulscan Farm Fun, not the Fun Farm, that was empty, at the Farm Fun, full of people. Do you want to see it?
Yeah.
Yeah. They'd best get their act together for Armistice Day. This is the rescue of Britain's loneliest sheep. According to The Guardian, Fiona is now such a celebrity that she has appeared on ITV's This Morning. In fact, as she was being lifted off the beach, Philip Schofield was being lowered down to replace her. Are you ready for your next banging tune?
Yeah, absolutely.
OK, here we go.
this about the US elections?
Yes, I think now Trump is officially ahead in the polls.
Yes. This is news that it's been a bad week for Joe Biden. He's found himself behind Trump in 5 of the 6 key states that will decide next year's election. Or, as Axios reported it, Trump set to romp Biden, which sounds like another court case. What insight did BBC News North America editor Sarah Smith give about Biden?
He's getting on a bit?
Yes, this week Smith told the Today programme that Joe Biden looks older every time you see him. I think that's just how time works.
Yeah.
Biden would be 82 if he were re-elected. He'd also be 82 if he wasn't re-elected.
Yeah.
What do some Democrats want to do to solve the problem?
Kill him.
Yeah.
They're Democrats.
Yeah. Yes.
Look forward to fresh, new, young candidates.
Yes, younger...
Just get him to retire.
Younger candidates. According to the Washington Post, many Democrats have concerns about Biden's standing. I mean, at all. And Trump testified in his New York civil fraud trial at the start of this week. How did he protest his innocence?
Well, he argued with the judge, didn't he? He sort of made political speeches from, you know, the judge at one point said to Donald Trump's lawyers, can you not control your client?
Also, when he was asked about his part in preparing a potentially damaging 2021 financial statement, he told the court that he wasn't involved because he was too busy keeping our country safe, which slightly fell apart as an argument when it was pointed out that he wasn't president in 2020.
But that does keep it safe, really.
Yeah. Yes.
In their coverage of Trump's trial, what did Fox News label as a travesty?
The courtroom proceedings?
Something in the courtroom.
The courtroom artist?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes, the courtroom artist. It was a courtroom sketch of the former president.
Oh, let's see it.
Here it is.
That captures him perfectly.
Yeah. The hands are too big. Donald Trump Jr., here he is, was also made to testify in the case. What important request did he make to the court?
He said, I wish I was wearing makeup.
He obviously saw the picture drawn of his father.
Oh, right,
because
yes.
when he entered the court, he asked the courtroom artist, make me look sexy. With the Democrats trailing in the polls, this is another bad week for Joe Biden. Concern about Joe Biden's age has increased, especially after he referred to the 9 wonders of the world. You'd think he'd know how many there were, given that he was a teenager when the Hanging Gardens of Babylon were initially planted. The big question is 80 too old for someone to occupy such a position of authority? Is the Pope a Catholic? Yes. And he's 86. Back to the DJ deck of news.
Oh, great.
Prepare yourself for some unbelievable rhythms. Yes.
Oh, somebody's unwrapping something, eating something.
Oh,
That's right.
Karamak.
Karamak.
It's Karamak.
They're getting rid of Karamak.
It's the shocking news that Karamak might be being discontinued.
People are freaking out.
I cannot wait for the film of this.
I mean, it tastes minging, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's right.
Is it?
Yeah.
Nice, lovely.
When's the last time you had a Karamak?
About a week ago.
Really?
No.
What name have Karamak fans given their movement?
Karamo.
Karamak, bring Karamak back.
Karamaniacs.
Karamaniacs, very good.
Karamaniac Andy gave the bar this fitting send-off in the Daily Mail. My earliest memory of Karamak was having a Karamak Easter egg as a kid, containing 2, maybe 3 bars, eating the whole lot at once, and being so sick. Honestly, you've got to save great stories like that for Graham Norton, because...
It's the meaning of Easter, isn't it?
It is. It's what Christ would have wanted. Branding expert Nick Eade added, it seems to have fallen out of favour, or should I say, flavour. Nice one, Nick. Please join the team anytime.
Does it not taste good?
Have you never had one? Have you ever had a chocolate bar before?
The only chocolate he gets is produced by ambassadors at embassies.
Well, let's remind ourselves, or for me, see it for the first time, Karamak in its glory.
Yeah.
I've got 5 pence. Wish that I'd got 5 pence. What can you buy for 5 pence? It buys a Karamak bar. There's some for you and me. We never knew 5p went so far.
I've changed my mind. It should be banned.
Yeah.
Look at those haircuts.
Envious?
How much is the Caramac now, then? It must have gone up from 5 pence.
Yeah, they're about 75 quid now.
This is the shocking news that Caramac bars are being discontinued. This is terrible news for the chocolate industry, which badly needs a boost. Please tell me you can still get those. The bar makers, Nestlé, were recently accused of making their selection boxes smaller and trying to slim down their chocolate tubs. Come on. They're still your customers, guys. It's time now for the odd one out round. Your four are Queen Elizabeth II, Cicero, John Lennon and Pierce Brosnan. Yes.
Well, this must be something to do with voices, I think, because John Lennon, with the help of AI, his voice has been sort of reconstituted and has put on the last Beatles single from a very poor quality audio cassette. So is it something to do with voices?
No.
No?
It is to do with that song.
Right, OK.
Is it to do with posthumousness?
Yes.
Well, John Lennon's dead and he's done the lyrics. Cicero, he's dead, isn't he?
Yeah.
Oh, he's well dead.
Judging by his passport photo, I'd say he's definitely dead.
Well dead.
But Pierce Brosnan did ABBA. Is Pierce Brosnan the odd one out because he did ABBA songs but ABBA was still alive and then the others have done...
Who did the Queen do?
Mamma Mia.
It is posthumous. It's to do with being posthumous, and it is Pierce Brosnan.
Yes.
Yeah, because he's alive and the others are dead.
Well, it's
Points.
here's... It's not that he's the only one that's alive.
Is it not
although
that
that is an
easy?
achievement. It's that they've all posthumously had their work put on show, except for Pierce Brosnan, who's killed attempts to show his artwork.
Oh.
Does his artwork include the Mamma Mia film? Because that should be killed.
It is a kind of artwork. Why has Pierce Brosnan told the people of Derbyshire that they can't see his work?
Because he doesn't have any.
Oh, he's got work. And this winter, Gallery in Derbyshire was set to host Pierce Brosnan's first UK art exhibition. But the actor kicked off, saying there would be no show and that, as far as he was concerned, the exhibition didn't exist, which is also how I felt about the exhibition. Do you want to see the kind of painting Pierce Brosnan does? Which is actually the instruction booklet for the Mamma Mia DVD.
It's a man putting earplugs.
Ah, that's a very good joke then from Richard.
Yes, thank you. According to the Daily Mail, Pierce Brosnan didn't go straight to drama school, instead training as an illustrator, which explains the quality of his acting. What was Brosnan's main problem with the proposed exhibition? The gallery advertised £500 VIP tickets that included the chance to meet Brosnan. And he took umbrage with that, saying he would never charge for a meet and greet. And lawyers have issued a cease and desist letter. But despite the threat, Brosnan still plans to carry on producing art. Cicero's legal work is being re-examined. Recently, a room of high-level barristers took part in a mock trial, which cleared Cicero of unlawfully sentencing 5 men to death without trial.
Oh, in the Catalan conspiracy?
Yes, exactly.
It's a terrible miscarriage. I'm still cross.
I couldn't sleep at night.
Oh. It's the Wagatha Christie of its day, wasn't it?
Certainly was.
According to The Times,
yes,
similar historical trials have recently acquitted Alexander the Great of war crimes and Boudicca of terrorism, although the jury's still out on the planning permission for Hadrian's Wall.
Names have changed over the years. Used to be Boudicca, didn't she?
Yeah.
Now it's Boudicca. Nestle used to be Nestle. What's going on? What's going on with the world?
Yes, Snickers used to be Marathon.
I beg your pardon, Knickers. Snickers, sorry, yes, that's right, yeah. Walnut Whip used to be the leader of the opposition.
What early work of Queen Elizabeth II recently went on display?
Is it a drawing?
Yes, it was a drawing that young Princess Elizabeth drew and sent to Peter Pan author J.M. Barrie, and it has gone up for sale. Here's the picture.
Why is it wearing a hairnet?
Yeah.
Also, why has it got so many windows in the roof?
Yeah.
Well, the Queen Mother, in her letter to Barrie, said that her daughter had insisted on putting windows in the roof and that the drawing itself was very poor. It's a very warm family. What has John Lennon been doing From Beyond the Grave, you mentioned it earlier.
Yes, he's appearing in the new Beatles single and the rather marvellous video directed by Peter Jackson.
Yes.
A song called Now and Then.
And according to The Guardian, it hadn't been completed earlier due to technological limitations or death. George Harrison, when they originally tried to re-record it in 1995, said he didn't like it and described it as fucking rubbish. John Lennon's voice is being recreated for a newly released Beatles song. Speaking about modern music, Rolling Stones guitarist Keith Richards dismissed it as a one-way toilet. Keith, something's wrong with your toilet. You need to call a plumber, Keith. Shouldn't be going two ways. Time now for the Missing Words round, which this week features as its guest publication Sweep Stuff magazine, the newsletter of the Guild of Master Chimney Sweeps. It's a fascinating read, and it really gives you an insight into what it's like for those working at the coalface, at the actual coalface. Can we start with man in Newbury digs up potato that what?
Man in Newbury digs up a potato that looks like Clement Attlee riding a bike. It looks like Madonna siphoning petrol out of a Volkswagen. It looks like two Norwegians fighting over a sponge cake.
Yes.
Yeah, what?
No. The answer is man in Newbury digs up potato that looks like a dog. Here is retired teacher Chris Gittins.
No.
It looks more like a pig.
Do you know what? I think it looks more like a potato. I am looking at the right object, aren't I?
Here he is holding it by a fence. Here he is pointing at it. And here he is pretending to be frightened by it.
Where did he dig it up?
In a dog sanctuary. Next, 2023 chimney sweep competition will see who can get their brushes what.
Furthest up, Jacob Rees-Mogg.
To work without small boys?
The answer is 2023 chimney sweep competition will see who can get their brushes most efficiently packed away in their van. Don't forget, get your chimneys clean for Christmas. You don't want to see Father Christmas popping out of the chimney looking like a character from Little Britain. Next, what spotted hanging 400 foot up a cliff?
Sheep.
It's not Cliff Richard.
The answer is the world's most inconvenient convenience store spotted hanging 400 foot up a cliff. Here is the shop in China. It is incredible, although there's no worse feeling than finally getting back down to the bottom of the cliff to find a text saying, sorry, and milk.
That's the only shop selling Caramacs now as well.
Next, what are the most common nicknames for men?
Dipstick, Wally.
Overrated and overpromoted.
I asked for a nickname, not a description.
Bollock chops.
Bellends.
Deputy Prime Minister. Your Majesty.
Wombat and Simon.
Wombat and Simon. That was a great show. Did anyone remember Wombat and Simon?
Simon.
Simon, the small boy, found a magical wombat in the woods.
Yep.
Sorry.
Every time he rubbed it... Never mind, doesn't matter.
Well, here's the answer.
Yeah.
Big Man, Ginge and Spud are the most common nicknames for men.
So who is that out of this group then? Who's Ginger?
Well, I
Spud and Big Man?
don't want to boast with it. But...
I'll take Ginge.
Yeah.
Next, the Guild of Master Chimney Sweeps says when it comes to the government, what?
They don't like it up.
The Scots are most approachable. The article also reveals that the Guild of Master Chimney Sweeps are working with the Scottish Government, presumably helping them brush things under the carpet. Electrician finds what under the floorboard at Oxford University?
F.R. Leavis. A tiny remnant of a chimney sweep's brush.
Is it Chaucer's hairdryer?
The ceiling to the floor below.
Yes! Gotta be. That's the one.
Electrician finds stash of dirty mags from the 1940s under the floorboards at Oxford University. Electrician Stuart Panter.
What were the dirty mags in the 1940s called? Ankle?
Yeah. That's it. Stuart Hunter found the magazines, also spotted a mummified rat whose skin had turned to leather, which, weirdly, he actually found more arousing. Finally, if you win the captain competition, what could be yours?
A new brush!
You're not far off.
I know I'm not, that's why I'm saying it.
I know. It's, if you win the captain competition, a Guild of Master Chimney Sweeps polo shirt. Could be yours.
Has it got a hole in the middle?
Where your head goes.
Yeah, exactly. His explanation got a bigger laugh than my original joke.
This is a competition in the magazine Sweep Stuff. We've got one of the captain competitions here, if anyone fancies a go.
Oh, yeah?
Speedy bricklayers embarrass badly parked motorists.
Just a car just put on the top.
First driverless car sold to blind person.
To escape his pursuers, James Bond rapidly deploys the emergency chimney device.
Yeah, I couldn't park up there.
The winner goes to Ian for I couldn't park up there. There's a wonderful polo shirt. Just going to pass that along.
He's just given me my prize, which is a shirt covered in genuine coal dust.
You must be delighted.
I will. I'll give it to one of the small boys who I've hired.
I mean, that sounds wrong, by the way.
And we'll be tackling that story next week. For younger viewers watching who may not know what a chimney sweep was, it was a job usually done by a small child who could climb up a chimney to dislodge the soot. The children were often found living on the streets, but don't feel sorry for them. It was very much a lifestyle choice. So the final scores are Ian and Jamie have 6, Paul and Steph only have 5. On which note, we say thank you to our panellists, Ian Hislop and Jamie MacDonald, Paul Merton and Steph McGovern, and I leave you with news that following the success of a life-size King Charles birthday cake, bakers turned their hand to commemorate Ian Duncan Smith's time as leader of the Conservatives. At the White House, as they head out for a state banquet, Jill Biden regrets asking Joe to help her with the mascara. And in London, after getting dressed in the dark, one man realises he's accidentally put on his wife's thong. Good night.
There'll just be some retakes for Richard to do just for editing purposes.
They've decided that this opening joke will be funniest on a third telling.
OK, yeah. Bingo callers used to dress it up a bit. It wouldn't just go 8-1, 81. It would be, you know...
666, Boris Johnson.
Yeah. You've not played bingo, have you?
Ian's chimney sweep, 12.
Yeah.